Michael Pryke. So Michael currently works as a children and youth worker and is a former Methodist Youth President. He represents 3 Generate on Methodist Council, which is the Methodist Children and Youth Assembly. And he is also a member of the Methodist Conference. Michael has worked with a group of Methodists to encourage the Central Finance Board to divest from fossil fuels.
Thank you very much. Hi, and good evening, everyone. I think my main thought of this actually goes back to a quote from a certain politician that says, "I believe the way things are not the way that things need to be." Methodist Church has spent a considerable number of years and a considerable amount of money, energy and time lobbying and talking to various oil and gas companies, trying to get them to change their ways. But yet, here we are. We can submit as many motions to shareholder meetings as we would like to, but yet we appear to be going nowhere. The Methodist Church itself has a central finance board which manages £1.2 billion worth of investments, which have included in the past BP, Total, Shell, Repsol, Eni and Equinor, being gas and oil companies. In 2017, the Methodist Conference passed a notice of motion which called on any fossil fuel companies in which the church has not aligned their business investment plans with the Paris Agreement target of a global temperature rise well below 2 degrees, there would be a recommendation that the church divest from such companies by the 2020 conference. Now, having looked in the Q&A section and in some of the chats earlier, I see that many people seem to be somewhat surprised at how close some of these votes have been. In the Methodist Church, there were 9 votes between this. It passed with 127 votes for and 118 against. 9 votes was how close we were to still being in the situation that we are today. In March of this year, the Central Finance Board took the decision to divest its £2 million stake from Total. And last week, it sold its £15 million stake in BP. After concluding that BP had not provided detail on how its recent commitments on emission reduction would be met. It then excluded several other oil and gas companies from further investments, such as ExxonMobil and Chevron, but it still invests in 4 of them: Shell, Repsol, Eni and Equinor. Now, the Central Finance Board has taken the step of putting these companies on notice as such, saying that even recent new commitments do not go far enough or reflect the urgency of the threat facing our planet. Now, it appears to me that Methodism is very much behind the curve, unfortunately, on this. With still investing in 4, as far as I was a bit worried, isn't really good enough. We have seen the outpouring of people quite literally on the streets campaigning for a climate emergency. I was absolutely overjoyed when I saw that a Methodist minister had been arrested because she was so concerned about the climate emergency that was taking place. She went down to London and protested, and quite rightly as far as I'm concerned. Methodism has this long and rich history of activism. So for those of us that are here this evening, I think what I would like you to take away is the term righteous anger. I am righteously angry as a 20-year-old that the world around me is on fire. I'm righteously angry that my church is investing so much money into these companies that is contributing to this. So if I would advise you to do anything, get angry, get annoyed about this. This is not something that the church ought to be invested in. For me, Martin summed it up really well. Should we profit from something that does us harm? To quote another politician, no, no, no.
Thank you very much, Michael. Sorry I was a bit late then. I got